Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is day 3 of the KonMari series. If you're new to the channel, my name is Magella. This is my channel, Rousing Mama. And at the moment I'm going through my house using the KonMari method to declutter. So the KonMari method was devised by a lady called Marie Kondo, and this is her book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying. You've probably already heard about it. It's very, very popular and with good reason. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, if you want to follow me as I do it, if I go through my house cleaning and decluttering, then please like and subscribe below. Click on the little bell icon below and it will notify you every time that I put out a new video. Maybe you want to do this with me, we can do it side by side. So today, as I was saying, is books. Today I'm doing adults books and children's books all together. I think that books is probably going to be the easiest category for me, purely because I did books not so long ago and I feel like I should be on top of it. So one thing about books is a lot of people feel like they should be able to just look at their bookshelf, scan the spines of all their books and decide what they want to keep and what they don't want to keep. This is not the way she advises to do it. She advises that we take, like all the other categories, we take everything out, we put it all in one place. So all the books in the house, all the magazines, they all come out into one place so that we can see everything together and we start working from there. After you get them all in one place, she does have subcategories that she would suggest that we split them up into, and then from there we can decide what sparks joy, as she puts it. So here's what she says about it. If you ask yourself, does this spark joy? When you're just looking at things on the shelf or in your drawers, the question won't mean much to you. To truly decide whether you want to keep something or throw it away, you must take your things out of hibernation. So, okay, you might say that sounds a little bit cookie, you know, my things aren't hibernating, they're just lying there. But I think it is important that we take them out, because I think a lot of the time we suffer from, it's almost like clutter blindness. I don't know if you've heard of clutter blindness, but it's when you're so used to seeing something that you can't see that it's out of place anymore. And I think it's the same with books. We're so used to seeing them that we kind of feel like they belong without ever having asked, does it actually belong? Especially with things like series and things like that. You've got a whole series of books and you've got each book in the whole collection and you don't want to split them up, but in reality you're never going to read those books again. What's the point in holding on to them? You're just taking up space. You could be making room for something new to come into your life, something better, you know, or just freeing up space and not have books that you need to dust and clean and maintain and look after. So I'm going to get all the books from around the house and I'm going to put them here on my kitchen table and we will get started. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all the books out. As I suspected, they're mainly children's books. There is a lot of reference books here, so she advises that we separate them up into at least 4 different categories. She would suggest general, which is books for your pleasure, so I guess your normal novel or whatever book you like to read. Practical ones like cookbooks, reference books, how-to books, all that sort of thing. Visual books, which would be photography, things like that. And finally there will be magazines. So we're going to separate them up. I'm also going to separate up the adults into one pile, children's into the other, because I think that's probably the easiest way to go about this. So get it done. Okay everyone, I am done finally. That didn't actually take long. I'll just move the camera a little bit. That was actually quite easy in comparison to some other categories. What I've done is I've got normal reading books down here, educational, like all these horrible history books. They're awesome for kids. They just love the fact that they're gruesome and it just brings history alive and makes it more fun for them. Art books. Everybody in my house is artistic apart from me. And the kids love these. They show them easy ways of how to draw different things. They love all that. Mainly cookbooks. A couple of books that I love that I won't be trying out. And then, as I said earlier about holding on to series, you don't need to hold on to series because you have it, you're never going to read it again. However, if you have children and you have a younger child that hasn't quite reached that reading level yet, and I think it's perfectly alright to hold on to them. There's a couple of series that I'm holding on to. There's the Big Book of Tashi. My little girls, well, they're not little anymore, my older daughters loved these books. Got really excited about reading them, couldn't wait to get the next book. I'm going to hold on to this. Look at this. I mean, it's been attacked by our dog. One of the dogs. Maybe both of them, I don't know. But it's still perfectly legible. So I can keep that, the girls can read it, and once they're finished with it, we can get rid of it. But I know it's definitely a book that I would want them to read, and I would want to give it to them because I'm kind of hoping that they will enjoy it as much as their sisters did. Same with The Floods. Again, a series. It's not like, I mean, down here I've got a bunch of books that are like fairy books or something along that line, and there's just normal storybooks as well, which is really good for them, and they're entertaining. Well, they're entertaining, they're fine, but they're all a bit, you know, kind of meh, you know, it'll do the job. Whereas books like these are the books that my kids got really excited about. They couldn't wait to get the next book. They were always talking about the story, laughing out loud as they were reading it, really excited, telling us all about it, you know, explaining, you know, what's going on, what's not going on. And, you know, it was just so lovely to see them get so excited about reading that I definitely want my other kids to have a chance at reading these, so I'm going to keep that series as well. And this book, you would have to prize out of my cold dead hands. My children loved this book. One of my daughter's teachers, my daughter actually took this to school when she was 9. She's 16 now, so 7 years ago. And her teacher actually read it to the class, and the class liked it so much that the teacher ordered the book, and every year since she has read it to the class. So now, luckily, my little 9-year-old is in that class and she's going to read it to them as well. It's an awesome little book. It's The Giggler Treatment by Roddy Doyle. And it's about these little creatures, they're called gigglers, and they get revenge on all of us adults who are mean to children by planting dog poo under our feet as we walk down the street. So as you can imagine, kids absolutely love that. They love the fact that it's kind of gruesome and messy, and, you know, kids get the upper hand, and, you know, it's everything that a kid loves in this book. And, you know, I cannot speak highly enough of this book. So yeah, I think everything else here is ready to be put away. The stuff that I'm getting rid of is down here at the back. There's not an awful lot, but like I said, I had been through the books recently anyway. So I'm going to put these away. There is a couple of bits that I wanted to cover, stuff that you're not actually supposed to do when you go through your books, but we'll do that in a minute. I'm going to get these put away and let you have a shot at them. Like I said, a lot of these books, my little one isn't ready to read just yet, so I will show you how I stack them away on the bookshelf so that they're not taking over the whole house. Okay? Hi guys, so I am finally done books, and man, I'm happy to have it over and done with, I'll tell you that much. So what have I done with everything? Here you can see our children's books. They all look very nice and tidy and out of the way, and the best part is that this is a door, so nobody needs to be looking at it. But anyway, enough about that. At the front, I've got the books that they're probably more interested in right now, and it's actually my husband's, but you know, he likes to grab it every now and then. The kids like to grab it if they want to find something funny to do with him. Okay, and then at the back is the stuff that they will move on to a little bit further down the line. So it's all nice and tidy in here. Over here we have their art books, which is quite handy because they keep their art pads and their easel and everything up here as well. So it's nice and easy and accessible, but it's not in everybody's way, which is the main thing. I'm really pleased with how the children's books turned out. What I've done with my cookbooks is I actually keep them here in the sitting room. If you look here, I keep them here. You might think, well, that's a really silly thing to do. Why are you keeping them in the sitting room? They're in the sitting room for one simple reason. My daughter and I have become vegan. It's over a year now, but we're still quite new to it relatively. I mean, it's a huge change in your diet. So sometimes in the evening, what I like to do is I like to sit down with a cookbook and flick through it and decide to try something new the next day. And I think it works out really well for me, especially because I've got 2 teenagers, and I'm kind of outvoted when it comes to what goes on the TV in the evenings, because they spend all up until their little sister's bedtime waiting to turn their cartoons off, and then it's kind of their time after that. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I'm quite happy to go through my cookbooks. But anyway, yeah, that's all of that done. And the only thing that I really wanted to discuss, let me just sit down for a minute, get comfy. The only thing that I really think is left to discuss is there's just a couple of rules regarding books. They do say that if you have any book and you haven't read it, you bought it, you intended on reading it, but you haven't gotten around to it. She says in that if you haven't gotten around to it, then clearly it's not that important to you. You should get rid of it. You know, it served its purpose. It showed you that, you know, you didn't need to read it as much as you thought you wanted to. And if somewhere down the line you decide that you want to read it again, then you will have to go out and purchase it again. But in the meantime, it's not standing there taking up loads of space. I don't know if I agree with that so much or not, because, you know, as a mum of four kids, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching will relate to this, you have the best intentions of doing things for yourself. I mean, whether it's have a self-care day or, you know, just get something done for yourself, and then your kids will come along and they'll need something, and as parents, what we just drop everything and we go and we care for them first. And I don't think that's particularly unusual. So it is nice, I think, if you have a book there that you want to read, that you can go to if you need to. Another one of her rules is when you are decluttering the books, do not, under any circumstances, start reading a book. You don't open them, you don't start reading them, because that's, well, we all know why. Because we're going to start reading it and all of a sudden 2 or 3 hours will have passed and we're left with a big old mess in the middle of the floor and we're wondering why we ever started this nonsense in the first place. So yeah, that's just a couple of things. And yeah, I did get rid of a little bit. I didn't feel like I made as much progress today as I did with the books and everything, but that's only because I didn't get rid of so much stuff. So clearly I'm not seeing as big a change as I did before. So today was certainly the easiest, but not the most rewarding by any means. Tomorrow, or not, maybe not tomorrow, but my next video is going to be paper. Now, let me tell you, I am dreading paper. I am so bad with paper. I have just letters everywhere. I think part of the problem is our lack of a shredder. For some reason, I think that people are going to, you know, I don't know, like me tearing it up by hand isn't enough, or something, that somebody's going to go sifting through our bin looking for our details. So, okay, tomorrow I'm going to tackle paper, and once I've done it and once I've pulled everything out, I'm probably going to go to the shop and buy myself a shredder and get rid of everything. So, okay, if you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe and click on the little bell, and we'll see you for the next video. Okay, guys? So take care of yourselves and get cleaning. Bye.